Today what I'd like to cover is entering in the vendors that you're purchasing products from, be able to enter in invoices into the system so that we can maintain the costs. As you start putting invoices in or start repeating the purchasing of the item, it will go much faster. What you're going to want to do is the vendor number is not important at this point of time, so you can leave that blank or just put the name of the vendor there. We will update that with the accounts payable number at some point of time. The vendor's name obviously is there, and any of the other information that you have for the vendor, the address, city, state, zip, who your contact person is, your customer number that's on the invoice. So on a CAG invoice, you have a customer number here. That's where you would pick that information up. I would ask that you fill out this information. Down at the bottom you have a set of tabs here: the terms, the send options, the items purchased, the vouchers, notes, and commissary information. You really don't need to worry about any of the bottom information at this point in time. When you need to add a vendor, you just click on Add Vendor. I'm just going to use an example. I'll just put FSA as the vendor name. And then once you get done entering in the vendor information, you just click Save. And that's really all there is to setting up the vendors. So you should go in and add any vendors that you're buying from initially into the system. Once you're done entering in the vendor information, you can click on the X up on the top left, and that's the lower X, to just close that window. When you have an invoice to pay, what you'll do is you'll click on the vouchers button, and a voucher is really just a transaction of product coming in, and the basic principles of a voucher is to key in an invoice. So the voucher type, it's going to be a purchase. You'll select the vendor. You'll enter in the invoice date that's on the invoice. You'll enter in the invoice amount. You don't need to worry about a voucher class, but you may want to use that at a later time. The distribution date is the date that the product was received, and that date needs to be within an open period. So if you forget an invoice last week and you've already closed out the week, you have to set the distribution date to someday during the current period, and then you have the invoice number that's on the actual invoice. Then once we have the basic information about the invoice, what we're going to do is we're going to distribute the items to the invoice for that particular voucher. So in this case, we have the Worcestershire sauce, and we ordered one case, and it was $11.70 a case with a total extension of $11.70. The product number, the GL account, the case description will all be defined as we add those items to the voucher. Once I get the voucher balanced with a zero remaining amount, then what we will do is we will click on Post. But once it's been posted, what happens is it will create a transaction for that item, and I'll just go ahead and double click on the item to open up the item screen, and then under our transaction tab under purchases, it's going to tell us that we bought 512 fluid ounces of Worcestershire sauce. It was equivalent to one case at $11.70. So when you post, it's creating these transactions so that we can calculate your actual usage at the end of the accounting period. You have the ability to unpost it, but unposting will just kind of undo it so you can fix it if you made a mistake and then repost it again. At the same time, it updates the case cost, which in turn will update any recipes that call for that ingredient, and also update your menu planner for the meals that you have forecasted. To start from the beginning of adding a voucher, the first thing you're doing is you're going to click on the Add Voucher button, and that's going to ask you what vendor you want to purchase from. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and select CAG. At that point, it's going to ask me my invoice date. I'll enter that in, and you can press Enter or Tab to switch between the fields. You would enter in your invoice amount, and I'm just going to put in $1,500, and then the voucher class, just again, the distribution date is the date the product was received or a date that belongs in the current accounting period. The PO number you don't need to worry about. The invoice number, you would just type that in, whatever it says on the invoice. And then when you press tab off of that, it's going to bring the quick add voucher screen. Now, right now I have it set up to default to the item description. Now the item description is going to list every item in the database. Once we get things established here and we have the product numbers in, it's going to be much faster to have the product number selected, because then you just type in the product number off the invoice, it finds the item, you put in the number of cases and update the case cost. What we do in the receiving module is going to really carry throughout the program, as I indicated. There's a lot of variables that can occur, so if I'm looking up peach slices, I'll just type in peach, and then I can see the peach slices here, and I can double click on that item, and it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to add a product number? Yes, I am. And then it's going to come up and it's going to show you what the case description is up here, and this is the item verification. So it's inventoried by the can. There's 6 cans per case. We use it by the fluid ounce, and there's 576 fluid ounces in a case. You have a place here to put in your product number, which is going to be 10352. And I'm getting that directly off the invoice. And then I'm going to enter in how many cases I received, and then it's $19.79 per case. The parts per case is generally going to be left blank. Once you have the information, you've verified this information, you go ahead and click on Add Item, and now you can see on the back screen that it's added peaches here, and now we're just ready to add the next item. French dressing, 4 1 gallons is what I want. Again, I'm going to answer yes to add the product number. I verify the top information, 1 gallons, it's by the gallon, there's 4 gallons per case. It's measured by the fluid ounce, and there's 512 fluid ounces in a case. You enter in the product number for that item, and then you enter in how many cases you received, which in this case I ordered 8 cases and no parts, and my case cost was $16.31. And you verified the case structure, just click on Add Item. And you would repeat that process as you go. Once you've done a truck or two and you've got the majority of your items ordered that you've already paid once or twice, if you go to product number on the search by, it'll actually only list the products that you have assigned to that vendor. So then you just type in the product number off the invoice and it pulls it right up. In most cases, the product case size and everything is going to match automatically because you verified it the last time. And then it's just a matter of entering in how many cases and what the price is and add the item. So if I ordered Worcestershire sauce again, it pops up and you can verify it each time. But in this case, if I just ordered 1 case of Worcestershire sauce, I can just press enter several times, and then it will go through and it will just add the additional items. Now, especially with your smaller vendors, with the produce vendors or milk vendors, that's going to be a very short list where you don't have to type anything. All you have to do is double click on the item, select it, enter in how many cases you ordered, verify the price, add the item. Once you've added all the items to the voucher, you can click on the close window, and that will bring you back to the main voucher. It'll show you the extension for each one of your line items. You need to balance it with the invoice amount, and in this case I'm just going to change mine. And then once I have the remaining balance a 0, highlight the post voucher button and I click on it, and it's posted. You're done and it's accounted for. If you need a hard copy of it, you can also click on print, and you can do a reconciled voucher or a purchase order. There's a number of different choices here. Answer OK, and then that will bring that up and tell you how many cases you received, what the original cost was when you added the item, and what the price went up, and it tells you what the difference is on each particular item. So you'll be able to monitor increases and decreases of your item costs. After you've entered in all your invoices and you're rolling it up for the week, under the report section, under the ordering report, you have a daily purchase record report here, and you have a preliminary or a final. And I'll just go ahead and select the preliminary, and I'll double click on that. And at that point, it breaks down the invoice and gives you the invoice number, the amount, and then it breaks down your GL distribution on what departments those are coded out to. And that's all going to happen behind the scenes automatic. Part of the weekly closing process will be to, again, go back to ordering reports and go to the daily purchase record. And if you run a final, it's going to mark all of those vouchers as being exported. It gives you the same report, and then when you close it, it actually marks those vouchers as being exported, and that's what ties into accounts payable. So anything you have posted since the last time you ran that final daily purchase record will be off the report. So if I go to run that last report again, it's going to be blank because I ran the final. As soon as I put another voucher in and post it, that will show up on this report. I have tried to call you a number of times. Eh, No one answers, and when I try to leave you a message, do you know what your voicemail box number is? Okay. Uh, if I could have you give me a call at your convenience, there are some things that I would like to cover with you offline to kind of get you ahead of the game, so that as the users are starting to have questions, that you will be a resource for us to tap into in helping us make a success of this program. Okay. Yeah, I mean, lean on the regional managers. Anna's new at this. She's, from what I understand, she has good computer skills and good food service experience, and I think I'll be able to bring her up to speed with some more advanced functions. There are things that we're going to allow her to do on a global basis to do work in for all of you at one time, rather than everybody reinventing the wheel, as I indicated last week. I mentioned a thaw sheet. I mean, if we can get a thaw sheet put together, and then we can just give it to all the profit centers, then that's just a benefit everybody can take advantage of as we grow into this program more. All right? And that is pretty close to our hour, so I like to start on time and I like to end on time. I know that you guys all have other things you need to do as well, so I appreciate your time today, and look forward to hearing from you on our next call. Yes. Sure. All right. Have a good day. Hello? Okay. Yes, I am.